welcome to Oswego Now. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
So let's start.
Okay.
How does it feel stepping back into the workroom?
Insane. Literally, it is like, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of doing Drag Race all over again. It is a very, I mean, I was like 29 when I filmed that. I'm 44 now. And I mean, that's a lot of years in between. And I mean, just think about how much you grow in like 5 years, much less basically like 15 years. So, you know, going back in, feeling like a new person. My drag is completely different, but then also going on a show that is completely different with, a the audience is so mainstream now, and varies from every age demographic to just it's a huge show now. So I feel like I'm doing it for the first time.
Really? Now, understanding that it's completely different, how did you step back in with a different show, different community, different world?
I mean, really, you just throw yourself in there and hope it goes. So, I mean, I really tried to, before, I think when I was prepping for Drag Race, you didn't really know a whole lot about it. I mean, let's be real, season three is as mainstream as it is now. So you somewhat prepared, but you just kind of threw some shit in the bag and was like, all right, here we go. This one, it was definitely I had a team of people that were amazing. We really took our time to kind of prepare me for it. And I talk about this during the interview it dropped with Entertainment Weekly and on the show. I crazy enough don't really watch Drag Race like that. I've been working nonstop, and normally when I come home from dealing with drag, the last thing I want to do is watch more drag on TV. So, I watched it enough to kind of know what's going on because I do a lot of the bookings here in Atlanta, and I run my own production company, and so I keep up to date with what's happening. But I did have friends that would kind of watch the show for me and understand what X, Y, and Z is, and we really took our time to kind of prep me for it, and that was something very different from season three.
So, would you consider yourself an OG?
Absolutely, I'm an OG. Yeah,
So now,
absolutely.
Now, do you see yourself also as a mentor to new coming drag queens?
Yes, definitely. And that's one of the things I pride myself on is, I love the art form of drag, and I could stop drag right now and never do it again, but I could still go to a drag show tomorrow. Like I love the art form of it, and one thing about me is I am always wanting to keep what I do and what we do alive. So how you do that is to mentor the up and coming performers. And I have a show called Dragnificent that I've been doing for about 15 years now, 14, 15 years now. And it is for like newcomers from like 5 years or under in the business. And they compete for like 8 weeks. And at the end, a winner gets $5,000. And, in that, we mentor them, we critique them, similar to Drag Race, but we're doing it more to really change and evolve them and make them evolve. And I think, I've watched people like Angeria Van Michaels, Violet Chachki, Bitch Puddin from Dragula, Lala Ree. All these girls all did my competition, and they are phenomenal now. And, you know, I don't take credit for, their work, but I also know that I did have an influence and a bit of an impact in where they are now. And I'm always so proud of that.
Now, and knowing that you have that little bit of influence, being an OG, Drag Race has expanded globally. So how do you feel about the global aspect that Drag Race has taken?
It's wild. I mean, like even on the day that it was released, the cast was released. So over on this side of the world, I mean, from the moment it dropped at 12 o'clock, my social media, my phone, everything went haywire, like nonstop. And then probably around 6:30-ish over here, it kind of chilled out a bit. And then the rest of the world woke up and they were seeing it. So it just took off again. And, I was getting messages from, Brazil and Peru and the Czech Republic. I did another interview with someone from the Czech Republic, and it just doing that and just seeing how I think you just kind of forget how big Drag Race actually is. Like we understand that there are different franchises from it, but knowing how big the American franchise is just mind-blowing. It's huge. It really is.
All right, that's cool. That's really really cool.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
so now from thinking outward, let's think inward and growth. How's the season three Phoenix changed now?
Well, I mean, I think I have to start off with, I think I have a lot more of a perspective on life in general. I have went through some crazy stuff in my life, which has helped me kind of evolve and grow and change and realize who I am and what I want to do with my life. I lost my sister during COVID, and after I lost my younger sister to that, which was something that I never fathomed would happen, it made me pull back and go, what do I want to do with my life? What am I not doing with my life? There was even a moment where I was like, am I over Phoenix? Am I over this part? Like what is my next step in life? And I think that is something that I am so different now going on the show. I feel complete within me, and this is one of those, like, this is what I have to give. If you like it, you don't. Where on season three, I was still kind of young. You're all over the place, and I don't really watch my season, but the little clips that I do see, the attitude was there, and this, just that very kind of young mentality. And now I just feel very different. And and then also the artistry of what I do. I've really worked on bettering my craft and understanding my craft. And I've put a lot of self work in and a lot of artistry work in, and I hope people see that.
That's They're definitely gonna see that for sure. But what has those next steps, like that growth, has it taken you to unexpected paths, or have you just seen this in your future and you've just grown and gone and you've gone for it?
Yeah, I mean, I what are you talking about? Like, did I see Drag Race in my future, All Stars in my future?
That let's go with that. Did you see All Stars in your future?
So it was one of those things, I think you always get asked, like, oh my God, would you ever do All Stars? Oh my God, why haven't they called you for All Stars? And for me, like, for a long time, I honestly, truly had no desire to do All Stars. And it was because I didn't want to deal with the fandom that came along with it and all the extra that came along with it. I had watched friends of mine just get beat up, and I just don't have the energy for that. Where I'm at in my life, I just do not have the energy for that. And, I think after my sister, when I was having this, like, reevaluation of my life and of who I am, I started thinking, I'm like, I want more. Whatever that next step is, I want more. And I just kind of like I don't really know if I believe in manifestation, but I also know that I was putting that out there. And I started, one of my best friends is Detox, and from Drag Race also, and she started saying, well, you're gonna have to put the effort in to letting them know that you want to be on All Stars. And she was like, at this point, you haven't given them anything. You've given them no desire to think that you even want to be on it. And so I started putting it out there, and I got booked for, like, painting with Raven, and I went out and feel very there were these little things that were happening, and I was like, okay, something is moving in the universe. And then I got the phone call. So like I said, I don't know if I fully believe in manifestation, but I do know that something happened the moment I started making an effort.
With that kick from Detox, what message did you want to send going into All Stars this season?
Well, I want people to, like, I mean, this is what I do as a business, and whether I go on the show and I win or I don't win, this was a way for me to reintroduce myself to the world. And, for people that are, my age and have been doing this for a long time, um, or have not even been on All Stars or Drag Race, I want them to understand that, in our business we have to keep kind of moving up the ladder, and we've got to do what we have to do to get up to that next level. And don't be scared of the fandom. Don't let other people hold you back from your next step. And that's kind of what I was doing. I think I kept kind of being like, oh, I don't have time for that. But I think I was allowing other people to hold me back. And don't be scared of these people. They're gonna like Some people are gonna like you in life, and some people are not going to like you in life. And I think as you get older, you start less concerning yourself with all these extra people, and focus on the people that actually love and respect you and uplift you. So,
So with that being said, what's next for Phoenix?
well, All Stars airs next Friday, May 9th. So I have that. I just signed with a new talent agency, Warner Talent, and we're going to be traveling a lot. I have merch coming out. I have a single dropping. I do a lot of like big circuit parties, which is like big dance events, and so I have like a circuit track coming out with one of my favorite DJs, House of Labs. So it drops soon. Yeah, I've got all kind, I'm gonna take this and run with it and make the most of my time. I have given myself to Atlanta for God, almost 2 decades. And I have a production company, so I throw my own events, all over the city, all over the South. I work with Atlanta Pride, South Carolina Pride. So, I'm always in it somewhere, whether it's on stage or off stage. So I'm excited for this next step with All Stars, because I think it's going to allow me to change some things up a little bit. Not be so focused on Atlanta and Atlanta based. And I always love my city, but it's gonna be nice to kind of branch out a little bit.
Well, that sounds great. And I love that you're very focused on the growth aspect of yourself and what's coming up next. But I would like to
Absolutely.
thank you so much for your time. And we at Oswego Now are going to be rooting you on. Wish you good luck.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.